What's up, guys? It's Alex here, back for another video, and a couple of things I want to mention before I get into this video. So, first of all, I have finally gotten PayPal donation set up. So, if you guys happen to want to support my work, the YouTube channel as well as the stream, you're welcome to make donations via PayPal. I will have the link in the video description below. I would highly appreciate it, but obviously it is not required. It's up to your discretion. And a quick reminder that today, in about 2 hours, I am going to be doing an English commentary on a game up from the Russian Jebus Cup tournament. It's going to be Gomungolis versus Bishop, game two. So should be a really good game. If you guys are interested in the high level gameplay of some of the top players in the game, be sure to tune in. This is going to be done on the MS Studio 2 Twitch channel, and I will also be hosting it on my Twitch as well. So if you guys are interested, feel free to tune in. Okay, so let's just get into this video. This is going to be a pretty quick one. And what I want to do here is discuss trading for towns on Jebus Cross. This can kind of be considered as an addition to the town tier list video that I did a while ago. And some people have mentioned that I should kind of discuss or add, trading for towns. I didn't feel like doing it in that video for the sake of, not making it too long. But in this video, I think I can give some general guidelines. I'm not going to discuss every single matchup, obviously, because, that would just make the video too long. But I'm going to discuss kind of like the general mindset, that you should probably have when you are trading for a town, right? So what is trading and, how does it go down, right? I discussed this in my kind of introduction to the things that you need to know before starting an online game. But basically, most of the time with maps like Jebus Cross or any other map, what's going to happen is you are going to roll two random towns, right? And then what you're going to do is you're going to bid from your starting amount of 10,000 gold as much as you want to play the stronger town, right? So for example, if you have a matchup like Necro versus Inferno, it's not uncommon to pay something like 7 or 8k for Necro over Inferno, right? So that you get to play that stronger town, but your opponent at least gets a gold advantage, because he plays the weaker town, right? So if you pay 7k for Necro, that would mean that you're starting with only 3k gold and your opponent is going to be starting with 17k, right? Now, the first thing that I'm going to mention in terms of actually trading for towns, I would say that you should always trade based on your level of comfort with the particular town. If you don't know how to play a town like, let's say, Necro or Conflux, right, it would make no sense to pay 7k to play that over, Inferno or Cove, right? Because in that case, you're going to be starting at a huge disadvantage in terms of gold, and you're not going to be able to make up for it if you don't actually know how to play well with them. However, if you do know how to play well with Necro, I've heard of people actually paying like 9k for Necro and still winning that game, So it all depends on how well you can actually use the town, and do you actually know enough, are you skills enough to overcome that gold disadvantage and make up for it, right? And this is what I did when I first started playing online. I actually would not pay a lot of gold for Necro because I just didn't know how to play with it. So I would generally sell it a little bit cheaper, for maybe like 6k or something like that, so that I would get to play with a gold advantage, and I would play another town, right? But as I learned how to play Necro, now I'm quite comfortable paying 7 or 8k for Necro, in a matchup like Necro versus anything on the lower tiers here. So that's the first thing, guys. I would say, you should always trade based on how well you know the town that you want to be trading for and, your level of comfort, right? And if you don't know, like if you get a pair like Conflux versus Inferno and you don't really know Conflux, but you actually would like to play Inferno at, a gold advantage, then maybe try to sell Conflux a little bit cheaper than you normally would just to make sure that you don't get stuck playing a town that you don't know how to play with a gold disadvantage. Now, as far as trading for towns goes beyond that, so basically the kind of guideline, I'm not going to discuss every single matchup because that would just take way too long, but basically, I'm going to go off of this list, and obviously there can be some disagreements about the placements of some of these towns on this list because this is my subjective opinion, but I would say in general, most people's tier list would be close to something like this. And basically, the farther apart the two random towns are going to be on this list, the bigger the gold difference is going to be. So, like I've already mentioned, something like Necro versus Inferno, you can easily pay something like 8k, or your opponent could easily pay 8k for Necro over Inferno. And, some people I've heard have even paid 9k or maybe even close to 10. I'm not sure if I've heard of anybody actually paying 10k, but I've heard of 9k and still winning, right? So, but the closer the towns are, so let's say you're playing something like Necro versus Conflux, then, the difference is probably only going to be something like 2,000, 3,000, something like that, I personally like playing both Necro and Conflux, and I would not be upset about, selling Necro for like 3k and getting to play Conflux at a slight gold advantage. So the closer the towns are, and that goes for everything. So something like Inferno versus Cove, there's not going to be a huge difference. But Inferno versus Dungeon, there will be. Or Inferno versus Castle, there will be again. And obviously, also keep in mind that you're not only trading for the town, you're also going to be trading for the color as well, right? And generally, what's going to happen is the more gold somebody pays for the town, the less gold you're going to be paying for the color. So the town, usually the most that people pay is somewhere around 8k when the difference is just huge, like, Necro versus Inferno or something like that. For color, usually it doesn't go above 2k, right? So obviously, in a matchup like Necro versus Conflux, I could potentially, if I'm only paying like 3k to buy Necro over Conflux and my opponent sells it, I could easily pay 2, maybe even 3k for the color because red does have an advantage, right? But if I paid 8k for Necro over Inferno, then I'm really limited, right? I would actually just give it away for 100. I would actually give red away for 100 because I don't want to start with less gold than I need to buy one more hero. Because with 2k gold and the gold starting bonus, I will still have at least 2.5k, which means I can still buy at least one hero, right? So, the point that I'm trying to get across here, the more you pay for the town, the less freedom you're going to have to pay more for the color. Now, and the kind of interesting part in trading comes in when you're trading for towns that are really close together on this list. So, for example, something like Cove versus Stronghold. Somebody may like Stronghold and somebody may like Cove, and actually the two players. So what you're doing when you're trading, you don't actually know what town you're paying for or what town your opponent is paying for. You have it in your mind, right? You know what town you would pick if you win the trade. But basically what you're actually paying for is the right to pick, right? And there can definitely be cases where it's like Stronghold versus Cove, and one person is assuming that they're trying to buy Stronghold, and then they lose the trade, they let the opponent win, and the opponent actually picks Cove. Right? That can certainly happen, and it's much more common for that to happen with the towns that are close together on this list. Like for me personally, I don't like Rampart, and I would rather play Tower or Fortress over Rampart, but a lot of people would actually pick Rampart over Fortress or over Tower. So when I have a random pair like Fortress with versus Rampart or Tower versus Rampart, I like to actually let my opponents win, and probably a little bit cheaper than they would be willing to actually trade. Like I could let something like Fortress versus Rampart, I could let them win at like 3K or 3.5K because then they are likely going to pick Rampart, and I still get the town that I actually wanted. So, when I'm playing something like that, I actually want to play Fortress versus Rampart because I just don't really like Rampart that much, and I don't want to be stuck winning that trade and actually playing a town that I'm not that good with and I'm not that comfortable playing. So, that's kind of another strategy that you can use when you're trading is letting your opponent win in hope that he actually picks the town that you don't want so that you get the gold and you get the town that you want. But of course, be careful doing that because he could always pick the town that you wanted as well, and then you would be stuck playing a town that you didn't want. So that's pretty much everything that I want to discuss in terms of trading for towns. Again, the main point is the farther apart they are on this list, the more you'll be paying for it, or the more gold difference there will be, and and you're trading for color as well. And the more gold you pay for the town, the less gold you're going to be able to pay for the color. If you guys happen to have any additional questions, because I think I've covered just about everything I wanted to cover in this video, but if you guys happen to have additional questions on trading, then please go ahead and ask in the comments and I'll try to address those. All right, guys, I am going to end the video there. Thank you for watching. I hope that you found this useful, and as always, feel free to follow my Twitch stream as I do stream Heroes 3 live. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And feel free to subscribe to this channel as well, as I do release new video guides every week. So if you subscribe, you'll be notified when I come out with new videos. All right, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.